Welcome back to Good Morning Football. Many counted the Steelers out after they fell to 0-3. Let's take a look at Matthew McConaughey before we get to that, chiming in on the game. You give Pete Carroll a glass of water, he turns it into a lake and goes skiing on it.
Love it.
I want to move to Austin and take his class.
What class?
He's a professor. I don't know what class. I don't care.
I didn't know that.
Underwater basket weaving, I'm in.
Okay. I don't get the glass of water thing. What does that mean?
Glass half full, maybe? And he says, hey,
I picture him driving that car, just preaching.
Yeah,
I don't know what he's talking about.
beating
I'll have
his
what he's
chest.
having.
Don't you kind of want that?
keep your eyes on the road, buddy.
Yeah, I do.
He liked watching that one. He teaches a class, does he not?
I think he does. I think he's a professor.
Let us know.
Adjunct.
At your feet. And now, back to the Steelers. Let's do it. Many counted them out. They fell to 0-3 to start the season. Big Ben goes on IR, and it looked like they might be sending a high, first rounders. It was crazy to Miami in return for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Now they'd be in the playoffs if the season ended right now. Gotta talk Steelers, and Omar Ruiz has more.
Good morning, Kay. The Steelers have won 4 in a row, but certainly could use some help in the run game. Jalen Samuels led the team with just 29 yards on Sunday against the Rams. That's the lowest for a Steelers leading rusher since James Conner had 21 in Week 1. Speaking of Conner, he could be on his way back. He told me yesterday he thinks he'll be able to go on Thursday, but no guarantees at this point. He was listed as a full participant in an estimated practice report yesterday. He told me he wants to make sure he has the full strength for that shoulder to hold up in pass protection, wants to make sure he has the full range of motion in the shoulder if he's able to catch the football out of the backfield. The Steelers looking for their 5th win in a row against the Browns on the short week on Thursday Night Football.
Appreciate you, Omar. We cannot wait for this one, just a couple of days away. And it's hard to overstate just how good that Steelers D has been since Minkah Fitzpatrick came aboard. Since Week 4, Pittsburgh's 5-1. They rank towards the top of the NFL in a few categories. Look at that. Turnovers, points per game.
They're balling.
This week they've got that trip to Cleveland on TNF. Is it time to start taking the Steelers seriously as contenders in the AFC?
In the AFC, I don't know. Playoff contenders, yes. I keep beating this drum that the AFC playoff admittance policy is going to be absolutely nuts. Week 17, I feel like we're in for some kind of like Andy Dalton getting the Bills into the playoffs type of hysteria. The problem is, though, like, no one really thought the Bills were going to do much once they got in, and they didn't. I think the Steelers will get in. If they're going to make some noise and be AFC contenders, you need a huge jump from Mason Rudolph. Like, a defense you can ride into the playoffs, but, like, if you're going to win some playoff games, you're going to beat the Ravens or the Texans or somebody, you got to have the quarterback be a lot better. A lot of teams are going to get in the club. I don't know what kind of time they have when they get there.
All I see is 5-4, right? And how they got here might not be pretty. Remember, they almost lost to the Dolphins. They were down 14-0. They had some really awful games the first few weeks of the season, but they're 5-4. They're alive, and they're believing. And this Minkah Fitzpatrick might be the difference. Kudos to that team, because when they lost those first couple games of the season, everyone was jumping off the boat saying, hey, Roethlisberger's out.
Right.
Save that first-round pick. Lottery protected. Do something. They doubled down and said, let's add a first-round talent and trade a future first-rounder. One of the most aggressive moves you'll ever see for a team that started off the season with no wins early on.
Some people hated that move.
A lot of people hated that move. They thought it was stupid. They said, you saved that pick. You might be drafting a quarterback next year. Guess what? They're 5-4. And yeah, okay, they're contenders in the AFC.
Okay.
Don't let them get in. That defense is for real.
I'm here for every storyline surrounding this game. Just like you guys are talking about, the new faces and new places. Minkah Fitzpatrick. Of course, Odell Beckham, Kareem Hunt now on the roster for the Browns. Both of these teams coming off of a victory. Also, the relationship between these two organizations. As you guys know, I have 2 sons. Nate is 15. Nehemiah is 13. The reason I put my hand up higher is because Nehemiah is slightly taller than his older brother. And as of recently, the last year or so, he's been walking around feeling himself. Chest out, he might bump into his older brother in the kitchen. His voice is a little bit deeper. He has peach fuzz on his, upper lip. So I was curious to see who would actually win in the game. They went to the gym, and I was watching. Is Nehemiah really going to beat little Nate in a basketball game? Because this changes everything. Anybody that has siblings, this is where it goes down.
Great Santini.
What I realize is Nehemiah ain't ready. Nate is still the big brother. He schooled his little brother. So the point I'm making is I'm here for the relationship between the Steelers and the Browns, because for so long, the Steelers were the big brothers. And if they win this game, they are establishing their dominance. If they don't, that younger little brother that's going through puberty all of a sudden is going to start feeling himself within this division. Can't wait for this game.
Neither of your sons are Mason Rudolph, though, is the thing. We're not talking Big Ben and Baker Mayfield here, right? Like, we have to see a little bit more out of Mason on this this one. I will say the Steelers game against the Ravens that went to overtime, at that point when it happened, I was like, oh, knock on the Ravens. Like, they couldn't beat the Steelers. And now it's, oh, you picked them off 3 times in that
You put
game?
26 points on the Steelers? Yeah.
Okay, Steelers, I see you. So there's that. What else we got?
All season long, we're celebrating the NFL's iconic moments, players, and teams of the last 100 years, including this legendary defensive line. Take a look.
So they want to know about the steel curtain. Okay.
One of the best D-lines the game's ever seen. 4 Super Bowl rings led by Mean Joe Green. The Hall of Famer played on 10 Pro Bowl teams. Anybody tried the steel curtain got lean. Can't forget Ernie Holmes, most called him Fats. And Mad Dog White and knock your train off the tracks. LC Greenwood put the squad on his back. The Steelers D-line legendary, that's facts.
Listen to this crowd. They're going crazy at 3 Rivers. The Steeler defense in one of its finest moments.
NFL 100.
Legendary defensive line, and the Steelers keeping on that tradition with defense. They take on the Browns this Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network, Fox, and Prime Video.
You like that rap?
I love that rap. I love all those raps.
So do
Yeah,
I.
he does a good job.
More of those. And DaBaby.
Yeah, I love the baby.
More DaBaby. Will Salvo, we love him too. He's out in the newsroom in Culver City. Take it away.
All right, thank you, Kay. Guys, well, with all due respect to my financial planner, I may have to get my stock tips from Steelers rookie linebacker Devin Bush. You see, Bush has been spot on with his predictions on how many turnovers the defense will have from week to week. Bush started making these predictions in week 6 when he said he would get his first defensive touchdown, and when you know it, he got it against the Chargers, and he's been on a mini roll ever since. Pittsburgh had 4 sacks and 3 picks against the Rams on Sunday. He was Bush earlier in the week when asked to give another prediction.
All right. Sunday at 4 o'clock, right? Sunday, 2 picks. 2 picks. 4 sacks. 4 sacks, 2 picks.
I like it. Are you going to put names to the picks again, or are you going to just let this one ride?
I'm going to let those float.
Okay.
I'm going to let those float.
4 sacks, 2 picks. He called it. Absolutely. Meanwhile, Rams wide receiver Brandon Cooks hasn't played since week 8, and he's not going to play week 11 either. A second concussion keeping Cooks on the sidelines. He's visited concussion specialists over the past 2 weeks, leading to speculation about his future playing status. But he posted a message to Instagram saying, quote, "Can't wait to get back on the field this year." The Broncos getting one of their QBs back. Rookie Drew Lock will begin practicing this week after spending the entire season so far on injured reserve with a thumb injury. Head coach Vic Fangio says Lock will work with the scout team. Denver will have 21 days to decide to activate Lock or shut him down for the rest of the season. Fangio was asked what it would take for Lock to get into the rotation. He said, quote, "I want to see good quarterback play that he belongs." So far, we've seen Brandon Allen belong. He started his first game against the Browns. That was a win. But guys, on Sunday, they have a tougher test in those Minnesota Vikings. Were coming off a big win themselves.
Tough sledding in the AFC West. Thank you so much, Will. We've got your Niners Seahawks highlights. Put a smile on. I know you're a Niners lover, but come on. Got to perk it up here on a Tuesday. More Good Morning Football ahead. It's raining outside. They sent the guys to run a play outside. It'll be great. Who's really special? Oh, he knows something about that. It's not too late to pick the guy up who can help you make a late push in fantasy. I've got waiver options. You can't play. Aaron Rodgers. There's a lot of studs on